So the regime in Syria has fallen. What's happening there right now?
So right now on the streets of Damascus, there are scenes of celebration after rebel groups swept in and government forces crumbled. You have rebel groups that have gone into the prisons and freed people who they believed were jailed unjustly. You also have scenes of families walking through one of the presidential palaces, posing for portraits, in some cases even leaving with items and furniture. While there is this feeling of celebration, there is also a sense of disbelief because Bashar al-Assad was in power for nearly 25 years and Syria's civil war has been going on for more than 13. 500,000 people have been killed. Millions of others have fled and are living as refugees. And there's a lot of uncertainty about where this is all headed.
Exactly. So what do we know about the rebel groups who could take power?
Well, the speed at which these rebel groups swept in has been a shock. Observers call it a political earthquake. Now, the rebel forces are made up of a bunch of different groups, but they're led by one group called Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or HTS. And it's a group that when it was founded, it was affiliated with al-Qaeda, but in 2016, it severed ties. Now, the leader of the group, Abu Mohammed al-Jolani, is talking about building a new Syria and making a transition to power, but there is a lot of unease. You have a lot of different factions at play here, each with their own agenda. And there is a real possibility for a power vacuum, which could lead to more violence.
Yeah, and so what impact does this then have on the wider conflict in the Middle East?
Well, the fall of the Assad regime is a major blow to Iran. Its proxies Hezbollah was a big supporter of the Syrian government, but Hezbollah has been severely weakened by its war in Lebanon against Israel. Now, Russia is also heavily involved in this. It has 2 military bases in Syria. The Russian military was a main backer of the Syrian government, conducting airstrikes, and Russian media are now reporting that Assad and his family have been granted asylum in Russia.
Okay, now President Biden has spoken at the White House. He called the now fallen regime abhorrent.
The fall of the regime is a fundamental act of justice.
He also said the US will be assessing the words and actions of rebel groups. Meanwhile, President-elect Donald Trump posted on social media saying that what's happening in Syria should just play out and that this isn't the US's fight.
Yes, and then he went on to say that Assad is gone, he fled, and that Russia, Assad's protector, wasn't interested in protecting him any longer. So there's a lot of questions about where this goes from here.